Okay, so we're gonna begin our additional practice. Again, additional practice in case you need some help. Let's start off by solving number 3. Okay? We're gonna solve number 3 on page 149. Then I'll solve number 5 and I'll solve number 2. Because I know you guys already did number 1. Okay, so starting with number 3, we have 39 minus 5z is equal to -1 plus 5z. Now, this one definitely looks quite complicated, and that's why I'm tackling it, because it's never as difficult as we make it out to seem. How many variables have we located in this expression? We have this one, and we have this one, don't we? This one is -5z, and this one is +5c. And here we have our equal sign. We're going to use the magic of addition to make one of these disappear. How can we make -5z disappear? What would we have to add to it? Plus 5z. Now, are we going to do that to one side, or are we going to do it to both?
Both.
And that would be what property that we just use?
Subtraction.
Because we added to both sides, it's the addition property of equality. So this is the addition property of equality. I like to write addition PO. Addition property of equality. Capiche? And after we do that, we always simplify. So after we use the addition property of equality, we have 39 minus 5z plus 5z. What's minus 5z plus 5z? Yes, 0. Equals, what happened? Yeah. Equals -1 plus, what is 5z plus 5z? 10z. Okay, what can we do next? Well, let's go ahead and identify where our variable is. Here is our variable. Do you mind if I erase this? Okay. So we have 39 is equal to -1 plus 10z. What number is farthest away from the z? The times 10 or the plus -1? The plus -1. What's the opposite of -1? Positive 1. Are we going to do that to one side or to both? To both. And that is what property of equality? Yes, the addition PO. You do need to be writing these in your homework. Addition PO, you can write add PO, you can write APOE. That's a little bit too. Give me the word add at least, okay? So the addition property of equality, and then after we do the addition property, we always what? We sim. We sim. No, not simp. We simplify, right? Please don't simp. 39 plus 1 is 40 equals -1 plus 1 is equal to what? 0 plus 10z. Can we make that 0 go away?
Yes.
Yes, we can erase it. So we have 40 is equal to 10z. Just so we know, 10z is really 10 multiplied by z, but they make the multiplication symbol disappear and they just put them side by side. So what's the opposite of multiplying by 10? Dividing by 10. Are we going to do that to just one side or to both?
Both.
So we have z is equal to 4. Now before we move on and consider ourselves victorious, what property of equality was the last one that I used?
Division.
The division property of equality, the division PO. And after I did that, what did I do?
Simple.
Yes, I simmed. I simplified. we have successfully completed number 3. Now let's move on to number 5. Go ahead and pause the video and attempt number 5 on your own. Can somebody read it to me? 4 equals,
Negative 10b.
Plus 6, parentheses 2 minus 3.
okay. So let's identify the variables. Let's identify the variables. We have this variable and this variable, and they're both b, aren't they?
Yes.
Excellent. Now, here we have a multiply by 10. Here we have a 2 minus, and then we have a parentheses guarding a multiply by 6. Because the parentheses is closing off one of our variables, it is the farthest away, and we begin there. Because we want to isolate the variable. Here we have 6 parentheses. 6 parentheses is really 6 times 2 minus b. Under the distributive property, you multiply the 2 times the 6 and the negative b times the 6. The distributive property is when you take the number outside the variable and you multiply it, you distribute it, or you can think you share it to both terms. So we end up having 12 minus 6b. Again, you distribute, okay? So that means we're going to go over here and we're going to use what property?
Distributive.
This distributive property to end up with 4 equals negative 10b plus 12 minus 6b. Okay? That is what happens when we distribute. Now let's look again for our variables. We have 10b minus 6b. Are they the same variable? Yes, which means we can combine like terms. We can combine like terms. Or another way to say that is simplify. So when we simplify, we get 4 is equal to negative 16b plus 12. 4 is equal to negative 16b plus 12. Our variable is right here. What is farthest away from the variable? The negative 16 multiplied or the plus 12? The plus 12. What's the opposite of adding 12?
Negative 12.
Subtracting 12, which means what property of equality was that?
Subtraction.
The subtraction property of equality. And after we use the property of equality, we're always going to
Simplify.
simplify. Or sim, yes. So we end up getting negative 8 is equal to negative 16b. Here we have our variable. What's the opposite of multiplying by b? What's the opposite of multiplying by 16? Sorry. Dividing by negative 16. So that is what property?
Division.
Yes, the division po. And what happens after we do the property?
Simplify.
We sim. Yes. Now, I'm going to go ahead and explain the simplification. First and foremost, negative 16 divided by negative 16 is 1, isn't it?
Yes.
So we end up having 1b. Do we need that 1 there, or can we make it go away?
Go away.
Yes, because you physically have 1b written on the paper. Now we have negative 8 over negative 16. If this confuses you, go ahead and Google Khan Academy simplifying fractions. That'll help.
Isn't that 1
Yes, it is. Now, negative divided by negative is always a positive, isn't it? The two cancel out. So you have 8 over 16. And 8 over 16 is really equal to 1 times 8 over 2 times 8, right? 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16. And 8 over 8, is that equal to 1? Which means this is equal to 1, which means you can take it off. So you're left with 1/2.
You put it into a decimal.
You can put it into a decimal. I'm going to write it as a fraction. B is equal to 1/2 or 0.5. Now let's go ahead and do number 2.
The homework is just the 2.5.
The homework is page 153, number 1 through 13 on. Make sure you bring 2.5 in the textbook tomorrow. Capiche? Okay. We have number 2, negative 2p minus 9 is equal to 10p minus 17. Negative 2p minus 9 is equal to 10p minus 17. Now again here we have the phenomenon of having a variable here and a variable here with our equal sign right here. Which one of these values do you think would be easier to make disappear? Negative 2. How would we make negative 2p disappear? Add 2p to just one side or to both? Yes, we believe in equality, don't we?
Yes.
Equality of the sexes, equality of the races, equality of the equal sign is included in that. That is known as what property of equality? The adpo. And after the adpo, we always what?
Sir,
How can I help?
for the homework, do we have to do the justification?
It's essential that you do the justification, and that should be annotated in the directions, which we always read the directions, don't we? Sometimes, always. So, negative 2 plus 2 is 0, minus 9 is equal to 12p minus 17. Can we erase this 0?
Yes.
Great. Now let's go ahead and find our variable. The variable's right here. What's closer, the 12 or the 17? The 12 is closer. So we'll want to work our way out inward. So we have negative 17. What's the opposite of subtracting by 17? Adding. Are we going to do it to just one side or both? And that is known as what property of equality?
Add.
Yes, the addition property of equality. What do we do after we add?
Same.
We simplify, yes. Make sure you have your justifications. 17 minus 17 is equal to 0. Do we have to write that?
No.
So we can write 12p is equal to, if you owe someone $9, or you have negative $9 in your bank account, and you put in $17, how much do you have? 8. Now we have 8 is equal to 12p. 12p is really 12 times p, isn't it?
Yes.
What's the opposite of multiplying by 12? Do we do that to one side or both? And that is what property?
Division.
The division property of equality. What do we do after we use the property of equality? We simplify, yes. So we have 12 over 12. 12 over 12 is equal to 1, isn't it? 12 divided by 12 is equal to 1, so you have 1p. Can we just write the p?
Yes.
Then we have 8 over 12. 8 over 12 is equal to 2 times 4 and 3 times 4, isn't it?
Yes.
And 4 times 4 is equal to what?
16.
No, right, oh, you're right. 4 divided by 4 is equal to what? 1. So that means this is equal to 1, which literally looks like this. Do we have to write that? No, so our final answer, simplified, is 2 over 3. 2 over 3. With that, you should be empowered to do your homework. I look forward to seeing you turn that in.